Good Thursday morning, guys. Um, so here's my Thursday update. I'm still getting my PC set up, and I need to finish setting that up today. Um, Looking forward to testing out our video stuff um, pretty soon. You've seen short little commercial bits on my channel with for Andrew Marlowe and I are going to be starting a podcast together. And our first episode is going to be about our mothers and what it's like to lose a parent. Um, I don't know if we're going to talk specifically about losing mothers or because we have that in common. Um, but there are several episodes already planned out, and I think it's something that you're going to really enjoy. So make sure you subscribe and make sure you go over to his channel and subscribe as well. I don't know if I can put the link to it in the description, but I'll try to remember before I upload this from my phone to put his channel name. Um, Anyways, so just wanted to give you guys a heads up that that's coming soon. We're going to be testing things out this afternoon to make sure we got everything working on our respective ends. He knows a lot more about that stuff than I do, so I'm just kind of following his lead there. So it is Thursday morning. Yes, yes. And things are coming along. Things are getting unpacked. Things are getting put away. Still so much to do, but I'm trying to get the stuff done first that's visible when you first walk in the door. Living room, kitchen, and then I'll be working on my room and the guest room, and or Emery says it's her room, and the bathrooms, that kind of thing. And I am dreading doing Sandy's room because there's so much in there. Like the closet is literally jam packed to the brim. And there's a lot of papers and things in there that I don't want to just toss um, because I don't know what is important and what's not. Uh, I don't think she would mind me telling you this story, but yesterday, my sister and I got into it was a brief. I'm going to say it was a very emotionally charged, heated discussion. I'll word it like that. And it seemed to be all about a remote control that I had inadvertently thrown away. My mom had a drawer full of remotes. I didn't know what they went to. I had no clue. And so they went into a box, and I honestly don't know if they went to Goodwill or if I tossed them. I have no idea. Um, and so my sister had called wanting to close. She's on a time limit to close my mom's account, and she was wanting to return those things to Xfinity, to Comcast, I guess, and close that account out. Well, long story short, we got into this real heated discussion, that I couldn't find it, and how could I have thrown that away? It's attached to an account. I didn't know it was attached to an account. Um, and I'm, like I said before, you know, I am going through her things by myself. She wants nothing to do with it, and neither does my other sister. And so I got really upset that, well, if I'm left to do this by myself, don't be yelling at me if I get rid of something that turns out to be important, you know. But honestly, it turned out to not be about the remote after all. I mean, she is trying to close accounts out, but it was later in the conversation where she mentioned having gone to Goodwill, the very Goodwill that I donated my mom's clothes to. And yep, she came across one of my mom's shirts that had her name on the back tag. She knew that I was donating clothes. And so personally, I won't go into that Goodwill because I know my mom's things are there. And it was hard enough to donate them, much less I don't want to see them in there for sale, you know. Um, so she came across this shirt and it tore her up. And so then she went looking through the racks for more of my mom's clothes. And she found some and she bought them. Now, I had offered her these clothes while they were here at the house and she didn't want them. But because she came across them, she was triggered. Her grief was just stirred up. You know, and she realized afterwards, she dawned on her, she could have had these things for free, but then she came across them, and so then she bought them just to have in the house. Yeah, grief doesn't always make sense because when we're in it and in the moment, it takes hold of us. And I was like that the first year after my dad died. And my sister had a day to day. I can't even get that lighting right. My sister had a day to day, pretty much almost every day, life here with my mom, and she took her places and she, came and looked in on her and stuff. And so her relationship with my mom was what my relationship with my dad and my stepdad was like. She was very close with my mom. So she was triggered. And so then the conversation that she and I started out on text, and then she called me because the text was getting real heated. And then it just turned into a thing. And I'm like, you need to stop yelling at me about this remote control, because I was like, I'll just pay for it if I have to, tell them to put it on my account, whatever. She wasn't looking for a solution. At the moment, her emotions were out of control. And this happens to us. This is why I'm sharing you this story with you. This happens to us. I was so angry the first year that my dad passed away. Um, you couldn't tell me nothing. You couldn't say nothing to me. And I know that's where my sister is. And she doesn't want to be that person. She doesn't want to be angry. But the thing is, she recognizes it. We don't stay mad at each other for long. And, it wasn't 2 hours later and, we were fine. She calmed down and she recognized the fact that it was her grief that had taken over in that moment. Um, and I have to try to remember, I loved my mom. I love my mom still. And I miss her. But I'm so busy with the job of getting settled in here, starting a new job, getting Sandy settled, looking after a new dog, newish. um, I don't have time to allow my grief to take over like that. And I'm trying, she's my little sister. She likes to act like the big sister, but she is my little sister. And I have to keep the cooler head, and I have to remember that, we are all grieving, but I do recognize that I think this is hitting her harder than it is me. And so I am, I have to be more delicate. I don't know if that's the right word. I just have to be more, I have to not react when she becomes like that, because that was me 18 years ago when my dad passed. And that was me 7 years ago when my stepdad passed. I was still very upset and angry, but not to that extent, because I'd already been through it before and I didn't want to go through it again. Um, I saw what it did to the relationships around me, and I didn't want to do that again. And she doesn't want to be like that. You know, she and I have each other. My little sister lives, you know, about 2 hours, 2 solid hours away, and now I'm here, and we've got each other. And so we can't be getting ticked off at each other like that. But it's going to happen. Even she recognizes that it's going to happen. And that's why I'm sharing the story with you, because it is going to happen. Grief can be used as a tool for growth, but you have to also let it have its moments and try your hardest not to take it out on your loved ones. And if your loved one does take their grief out on you, it's not, think of it as, honestly, my work with children has taught me this. They're big emotions, and you don't always know how to deal with them, because grief is very confusing, and it twists us up, and it throws us this way and that way, and we really don't know from one moment to the next what's going to trigger us, how we're going to be feeling, especially in that first year. I think after the first year, things start to settle down a bit in your inside. But running across one of my mom's shirts in the Goodwill, the fact that she probably wouldn't have paid no attention to it, except it had her name on the tag. And it happened to be a shirt that my sister gave her when she went into knee surgery. And she wrote my mom's name on it. And I can see how that would tear her up, because it's not just the shirt, it's the memories that go along with it. Um, and that's why she doesn't want to sort through things. I mean, I've even asked her, I've shown her things. Do you want this? What do I do with this? I don't care. I don't want nothing to do with it. And then come to find out later, she should have looked at it. But it's because for her, everything has a memory attached to it, where it doesn't for me. I visited with my mom, but and I spoke with her, on the phone and over Messenger and all, but I don't have the daily memories that my sister does. And that's another reason that I am so adamant about rearranging. you know I'm keeping some things where they were, but I'm also making it look like I live here, because I do. And but it's important to rearrange and remove some things from sight because it's easier, I think. That's my opinion. But I also recognized after yesterday, after that blow up, that had nothing to do with a remote, really. Um, I need to recognize that she is hurting so bad. And I want so much to be the big sister that she needs me to be. And it's hard because she likes to act like she's the oldest. um, I mean, I even offered to call some of these places that where she's trying to close accounts. No, I'm closing mommy's accounts. I'm the executor. I'm closing mommy's accounts. But it's not about her being executor. She told me this. She's trying to show my mom respect. She doesn't feel like my mom was treated very well, especially in the end of her life. And so she's trying to, she had such a hard end to her life. She's trying to show her memory respect. And so I'm trying so hard to be, I have to remember to be the big sister. And so I don't mind, like I said before, I don't mind this trying, going through things. I put myself on autopilot. I took her things, her clothes and whatnot to Goodwill, and literally the guy's like, "Do you want a receipt?" Nope, and got in the car and drove away. I didn't want to have time to think about it. To think about, does my mom's clothes in these bags, and they're going to be on a shelf, But then, the rational side of you steps in and says, what am I going to do? Keep them in the closet forever? Um, and it's hard because a lot of them still smell like her perfume. Um, and it's hard. I don't want to walk into my bedroom and smell my mom's perfume, you know? So for my mental well-being, I had to get rid of those as soon as possible. I shared all that with you this morning to say that if you let it, grief can destroy relationships. So you have to treat someone going through grief with gentleness and kindness. And don't assume that you know what they're thinking or how they're feeling, because you just don't. Even if you've gone through it yourself, even if, like me and my sisters, we've lost the same mother, but we all had a different relationship with her. And so our grief is all different. And I can recognize that my sister's grief in this instance is probably deeper than mine. It isn't that I don't love my mom. It isn't that I don't miss my mom. I do. I have been homesick ever since I moved in here. And at first I thought, I'm homesick for Hopewell? It isn't that. Yes, I miss my life there, but no, I'm homesick because I'm in my mom's house and she's not here. So
But I've been through, I think for one thing, my faith. Oh, what would I do without my faith? Oh, you know, I'm reminded, I'm going to see her again. I'm going to see my dad again. I'm going to see my step. I'm going to see my loved ones again. And sorry, just thinking about that for a moment. And I think that, not just that thought, but the fact that I have been through this so many times in the past, so many loved ones gone. I don't want to say I've gotten used to it, but I know that I know that I know it's going to get better. You learn to live with that loved one in your heart. You learn to move forward and know that they're still with you, just in a different way. And if anything, in an even more personal way, because you take the relationship that you had with them in here, and nobody can touch it, and nobody can take it away. And it's just between you and that loved one that has gone on. And it's personal and it's all yours. So have hope. Have hope that if you are struggling with grief, it does get better. Promise you, it does get better. In the meantime, your emotions are what they are, and it's okay to have them. And hopefully, the people around you can recognize that you're dealing with something, and hopefully, you can be insightful enough with yourself to know, okay, this is my grief. And if I lashed out at someone, I need to apologize to them. Don't let grief destroy your relationships, because it will if you let it. Use it as a tool to grow. And you and everyone around you will be much better for it. God bless. Talk to you guys soon.